Hi, my name is Jonathan Byrd, and today I'm going to talk about why this award-winning song is so bad. So this is kind of my first hit. Before this album even came out, I won my first songwriting competition with it, the North Carolina Songwriters Co-op songwriting competition. I don't know if you're aware of this, but North Carolina has some banging songwriters. Ben Folds is from here. James Taylor came out of here. So many great songwriters then and now in North Carolina. So the competition was stiff. And I won this contest with this song that you're about to hear. I remember playing this song years later in Texas around a campfire with a bunch of really good Nashville songwriters. And one of them said to me that it was almost a perfect song. And it kind of took me aback. I mean, it was unsolicited criticism, which you should never do. It's never cool. I don't care how good you are. This guy was kind of a horse's ass. He hit on my wife. Anyway, he was a good songwriter. I looked the song over for whatever was less than perfect. I didn't take it personally, but I did take it professionally. And you know what? It's so less than perfect. It's like really, really not perfect. So let's listen to it and I'll explain myself. Back porch, you know?
Well, I have traveled from afar just to go to the Ashe County Fair. Last night I slept out under the stars. Today I'll be at the Ashe County Fair.
So, am I rhyming fair with fair? Or am I rhyming afar with stars? Or am I rhyming afar with fair? Or stairs, stars with fair? Not stairs, stars. See, I'm already confused as to what the rhyme scheme is. And it's kind of amazing that the judges didn't stop the tape right there and just say, let's move on to the next one. This guy obviously doesn't know what he's doing. Let's hear more.
Last year I met a beauty there. Her arms were brown, but her face was fair. There were 7 roses pinned in her hair. She sold pies at the Ashe County Fair.
Okay, again, what am I rhyming here? Their fair, hair fair. Is it fair to rhyme fair and fair because they have different meanings? I mean, now we're into the second verse and the rhyme scheme is starting to get redundant. And the judges are still, by some miracle, listening to my cassette tape. It's 1999, you know.
Well, I bought more than I could eat just to talk to a girl so sweet, with her eyes like water and her hair like wheat, blowing around at the Ashe County Fair.
Okay, it's like an angel was sitting on the play button, or their cassette player was broken. They couldn't get it to stop. I don't know. But I rhymed the first 3 lines, and then the 4th one, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to say the same thing. And dadgad. I would play this in standard tuning now.
I asked her if she could go with me. She said, my dear boy, that never could be, for my mother's dead and my family needs me to sell my pies at the Ashe County Fair.
So I ended 2 lines with the word me. Like, I'm not even trying. I'm sticking syllables in the space between lines, like with her, for my just to make the sentences work. I tell people not to do that all the time. Like as a teacher, I tell people like, fix that. I did not fix that. I've sung 4 verses. There doesn't seem to be a chorus. There's no bridge in sight. I have established the rhyme scheme now. So there's 3 lines that rhyme, and then there's a 4th that always ends with the hook, Ashe County Fair. I mean, thank God there's a hook in the verse because we don't have a chorus. But if you go back to the first verse, then that rhyme scheme doesn't really work because like afar, fair, and stars. But whatever. I'm an artist. These are my feelings, y'all.
Knew that day that I must return. Oh, my heart would always yearn for her. A golden voice in my memory burned above the noise at the Ashe County Fair.
Just now, I'm starting to understand the attraction of this song. So the judges have been listening for 5 verses that have terrible rhyme etiquette, shoddy prosody, no chorus, no bridge. However, there's a story. I have a setting that we can all imagine, and I've presented my protagonist with a worthy goal, and we understand what stands between him and that goal. That is classic storytelling for thousands of years. It's so cliche and it works. And if you've stuck with me for this long, now it's going to be hard to stop the tape because we love stories and we have to know what happens. I mean, what's the worst book that you've read all the way through? For me, it was the Da Vinci Code. My apologies to Dan Brown. If you're watching, I don't know why you're watching. I hope you are, actually. And I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. And I hope if you're insulted, I hope you're crying on all your money. But the writing was kind of dry. There was no poetry. There was no like soul in the lines of the writing. But the story was super tight. And that kept me reading. And I think that somehow the forgiving and patient song contest judges who made it to this point were now into the story and they knew what was at stake and they had to find out what happened. So let's find out what happened.
I saw my cabin and a parcel of land. I bartered away for a small golden band. It was just right for a pie cooking hand to pledge my love at the Ashe County Fair.
Pie cooking? Lord help me. But you know what? Our hero has accepted his quest. And in fact, he's already passed the point of no return. He sold everything he had for a little gold ring to take to this girl. And now we're really invested in this story. It's the only harmonica I've ever played on a record.
Winter last was long and cold. The fever took both the young and the old, and then the county Ashe was hit hard, I am told. This year there'll be no Ashe County Fair.
Now what's gonna happen?
I spent a long day searching the town. A late afternoon, 'twas her father I found. He said, I buried my girl in the hard frozen ground, in the field under the Ashe County Fair.
I wrote this, and when I was writing out the lyrics to do this video, I still cried. The sense of grief is so profound. At this point, the rhymes, all those things that I was talking about, the technical aspects of the song, are really inconsequential. They've all been forgotten at this point, and we just feel that sense of loss and the sweetness of the love. Let's play it out.
The wedding band, it weighed heavy like a stone. I left it to lay on her grave overgrown, and I left my heart to be buried with her bones in the field under the Ashe County Fair. And now I ramble this country wide, and maybe someday I will take a bride, and then perhaps I shall be satisfied. But for the memory of the Ashe County Fair, but for the memory of the Ashe County Fair.
He loved her so much, he left everything he had in the world in the tall grass and walked away. It's so simple. It gets too simple, but it's perfectly simple. You can tear it apart. There's so much wrong with it. In the last verse, I should have said I shall both times or I will both times. They're both acceptable, but I like to be consistent within a song. I mean, that's what I teach people in my workshops. I mean, certainly be consistent in two lines that are right next to each other. I was a young songwriter. I wrote the song in a day. I had such strong feelings about it back then. You couldn't have told me anything was wrong with it. But looking back, that's a good thing. It's a great thing. It was my first award-winning song. I mean, thank God I didn't worry about that stuff, and I just wrote it. And I learned a lot from that unsolicited criticism that night in Texas. I didn't take it personally. I took it professionally. And I learned that I'd come a long way as a writer. And I learned that maybe that it wasn't even that important, that telling a good story with intention overcame all of my inexperience. My team came to me recently and they were like, why isn't your first album on Spotify? So we made a plan to get that first record, Wildflowers, onto Spotify, and it's up there now. And you can listen to it. We'll drop the link in the description. But also, I have fresh plastic. Ooh, that warm CD sound. Can you hear it? Oh, it's beautiful. I still have a CD player. It's a $25,000 CD player. It's a Toyota Tacoma, Barcelona red. And but you can have one of these if you like CDs. Support me on Patreon. Anybody who supports me on Patreon this month will receive a free Wildflower CD in the mail. If you are from Europe or Canada or somewhere else in the world, I might have to ask you for a little money to cover postage. I just sent a t-shirt to Canada. It cost more than the t-shirt to ship it to Canada. Shipping is crazy. But I would love for you to have this wonderful plastic, beautiful creation. If you want to listen to it on Spotify, there's a link in the description for that. It's on YouTube Red. I love YouTube Red. Pandora, anywhere you listen to music, streaming music, you can listen to this album now. And I'm glad that it's back out there again. It's a pretty cool record, even if the songwriting is just terrible. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications. Even you, Dan Brown, I loved your book. I did. I'm sorry I said bad things about it. All right, don't forget to write.